In this video, I'm going to show you the steps on how to change out a rear axle on a Wildcat Sport. The trail is pretty much the same thing. A-arms are a little different, but it's the same thing. I broke the inner CV on this one, so this will be good because you'll see how to get the inner CV cup out when you don't have an axle shaft to push the pin in. We'll start. I've already pulled the wheel off. Got it blocked up, so we will start by pulling the cotter pin out. Once you got the cotter pin out, the next thing you need to do is get off this axle nut. The only way I've found so far to get these off is with heat to help it along. We tried busting this loose out on the trail without heat and ended up breaking a 1/2-inch breaker bar in the process. So after you've thoroughly got it hotter than you think it really should be, it'll eventually break loose. Well, what sucked about this now is I guess whenever they put this axle nut on there, I guess they cross-thread the damn thing when they put it on. Okay, moving on. Now that we've got the axle nut off, next thing to do is to pull the bolt out of the upper knuckle. That's a 15 millimeter on the nut. It's a 13 millimeter on the bolt. As you can see, my inner CV's broke, so this should all just pull out, and it does. So now the fun part is getting this inner CV cup off without having the axle to push in and release the cert clip. So what you'll do is grab a screwdriver. And it's hard to, and there's really no way to show it to you, but there's a pin on the inside that you'll push on. It is dead center in the middle of the CV cup. Push on that, and then just pull the CV cup out. And it comes out, which is so cool once you figure out how to actually do it. Alright, now that we've got the old axle out, we can install the new axle. To install the new axle, it's pretty much the reverse process. You'll get it centered up, push the pin on the inside with the axle. So basically you're holding the CV cup, pushing in with the axle. That'll release this clip and allow it to drop in. The axle's got to be straight with the CV cup where it won't push the pin in right. Once you got it in there, give it a little jerk, make sure it's in there all the way. Now we're ready to put the new axle back into the hub. Okay, now that the axle is in the hub, take the upper knuckle bolt, reinstall it. This bolt right here on the upper knuckle torques down to 35 foot-pounds. Okay, now that we've got all this assembly back together, we're going to put blue Loctite on the axle. And then take your nut. Mine, the threads are all messed up on it, so I'm going to have to order one. But basically you'll run the axle nut on there, torque this down to 200 foot-pounds, and then give it, if your threads, if your castellated part of the nut doesn't line up to the holes in the axle, give it a little bit more until it lines up. Put your cotter pin in, bend it over, and you're finished. That's all there is to putting it back together. Throw the wheel back on. Steel wheels are going to torque down to 40 foot-pounds. Aluminum wheels are 80 foot-pounds. And that's it. One thing I learned from this one is from now, I've changed out a couple axles on these so far. From now on, whenever I order spare axles to take with me, I'm going to order an axle nut as well. It's like $4. So that way I won't run into a problem like this again. Would have sucked to have gone through all the effort to get this thing actually a part of the field and then find out I can't really do anything with it anyway because my threads are screwed. So hopefully that helps out, showing you how to change out a rear axle in a Wildcat Sport or a Wildcat Trail.